Prologue. 2 years earlier. Why couldn't she hold it together? Her eyes moved over to her sister and brother, who were standing a foot away from her. Aiden, her big brother, had one arm wrapped around his wife, Kristen. The other arm hung around Amber's younger sister, Ashley. Ashley was going on her own journey to Paris in a few weeks, where she would spend a few months training under some of the best artists abroad. Now, however, her sister's blue eyes, which matched Amber's almost perfectly, were sad and full of tears. "Are you sure you can't postpone the trip until I leave?" her sister begged once again. "No, sorry. The screen tests are in 2 days." She walked over and wrapped her arms around her sister's shoulders. Ashley was a few inches shorter than Amber. Their matching eyes were as far as their similarities went. Amber was tall, thin, and curvy where it counted, with long, flowing blonde hair that curled just right. Ashley was more of an athletic build, with shorter, straight flyaway hair. Amber and Ashley were as close as any two sisters could ever be. But they each had their own separate dreams. Ashley's dream was to be a world-famous artist, so she was heading out in a few weeks to attend school and live in a small flat along the Seine River and study under some of the best of the bests. Amber's dream had always been to be a famous actor. She had always imagined seeing her name in bright Hollywood lights, having her picture on the cover of magazines, dating the rich and famous, living in a mansion in the hills of Hollywood. So when she found out about the casting screen test for a new show that was sure to quickly become a hit, she had pulled some money from her savings and bought a one-way ticket. After all, if Ashley was going to follow her dreams, wasn't it about time she did the same? "Make sure to call us the moment you land," Aiden said, running a hand up Kristen's shoulder. Amber nodded, not trusting her voice to say anything else, then quickly hugged everyone and started walking towards the security gate. She looked back as her family melted into the growing crowd at Denver International Airport. The long lines at DIA were something she had planned for, as was the lengthy goodbye from her family. Her parents had driven her there, quickly saying their goodbyes in the drop-off lane outside as the snow fell softly over them. She had known her brother and sister wouldn't let her leave town without seeing her off, so their appearance just outside the security line had come as little surprise. She was only a few feet away from her first security check when she heard her name being called. Glancing back, she held her breath as she watched Tom walk slowly toward her. Thomas Albert Jr. had been her one and, to this day, only love of her life. He was everything Amber had ever dreamed of in a man. A true Adonis. But what had made the man top of everyone else in all her books was the very long history they had together. Tom was, and had been, her brother Aiden's best friend since, well, before Amber had been born. Seeing as they were a good 7 years age difference, she had always dreamed that she'd been born for him, and for becoming a star. "What are you doing here?" She frowned at the bundle of small white daisies in his hands. "I wanted to say I was sorry." His blue eyes wouldn't focus on hers. "About?" He took a deep breath. "Tom," she interrupted, "I'm not sorry." She bit her bottom lip. "I meant what I said." The memory of the night before flashed quickly in her mind. She had driven across town and showed up on Tom's doorstep. It was 10:15, and his light had been off. She had only prayed that he was alone before knocking on his door. He had answered in nothing but boxer briefs and a scowl on his lips. He had blinked a few times, then shook his head. "What are you?" She didn't let him finish. Instead, she had thrown herself at him. "I love you," she had blurted out, and kissed him like there was no tomorrow. Because, in her mind, there wasn't. His hands wrapped around her hips, pulling her closer for just a moment. She had enjoyed feeling what she did to him, pressed up against her hip. Enough so that she had groaned with delight.